Welcome back to a new week. Of course, we're gonna keep on doing rust repairs on the Blazer in the garage, but we also have some other stuff I want to do, and we're gonna take some cars off to the junkyard this week is my plan. We have some great weather here. You really feel that spring is coming. It's a bit early to celebrate yet, but we're heading there anyway. And every time spring comes around and the heat comes around, I start looking around at my property, and it's a big mess. So we really need to do some spring cleaning here, and that will start with the latest thing I just got, which is this thing. One of my viewers gave me this thing. He drove it home to me on a trailer. It doesn't have an engine or transmission, but he gave it to me for free, including shipping or transportation. So that was really kind of him. So unfortunately, we're gonna pick this apart and take it to the junkyard, but I'm gonna show you why we won't save this thing. But we're gonna save some stuff, maybe sell some stuff, but I want to get it gone as fast as possible. And while we're on the scrapyard idea, I thought that if I'm gonna call a company that comes and pick up the cars. They pick them up for $100 each, and it's not really worth for me to load them, strap them down, and drive them and drive back again for $100. Might as well call them, and if they're gonna come here, might as well pick up as much as possible. So with that said, we're also gonna take out the Pajero and remove the engine and everything we might need from that thing. But anyway, I'm gonna show you the Caprice. It's a 92 Caprice, and it's actually gonna hurt me a bit to pick this apart because I really like these. My dad had a Buick Roadmaster, the basically exact same vehicle except the emblems, and I borrowed that for a while and I really liked it. And also this is black, which is cool. It's black metallic, and also it has a red interior, which I think is really cool combination, black and red. Unfortunately, it's not a leather interior. It's what do you call it? I can't think. Cloth. I can't really remember their name right now, but we have a nice interior at least, and the interior is actually really nice on this thing. But the thing is with this thing, you can see it has already been gutted a bit. The steering column is bad, and obviously the engine and transmission is already gone. And the story of this thing is that the owner has it, passed away, and one of his relatives got the car, and his plan was to build a grill of it. He was going to cut off the front end and make a grill with the hood or something, but it didn't happen, and then he gave it to me. And as I said, I really like this thing and I would like to save it, but it is really rusty in the frame. You can see the whole control arm area here is completely gone, and this fall down to the ground when they were going to load it, so they had a bunch of problems with it. That's why they have started to cut the control arm. So I can't see any point in saving this thing, even though I really like it. You can find one of these in this condition, which I would say is pretty bad condition, running and driving for like, if you're lucky, $2,000, but generally $3,000. And if we're gonna put an engine and transmission in this thing, that will be at least $1,500. The windshield is cracked, that's a few $100. We need a steering column, that's at least $100. And even though that, we still have to fix the frame. So there's no real point in fixing it, even though I think it's sad to junk it, but that's how it is. But yeah, that's the route we're gonna go. So we're gonna see if we can. I'm gonna take out the Pajero, and we have to move around a lot of stuff and see if we can put them here somewhere. Now there's a bit of an overflow of vehicles right now. The Blazer is here. My dad is going to pick that up on Thursday so he can work on it. But yeah, we need to get rid of some cars. But yeah, I'm gonna see if we can move some stuff around and make some space to pick these two apart. I'm just walking back and forth here and trying to figure out how I'm gonna solve this, because everything is blocking each other. So obviously we have to move Ram truck, which is really big, and to get that out we need to move the Caprice. And when we have the Ram truck out, we can get the Pajero out of here and try and get Ram truck back in. And this is the area that I want to be able to pick cars apart and not having them be seen by anyone, because if we have them here in the front yard, we see them from the house, and I don't really want to see junk cars from inside the house. So that's why I have created this area, but it's a mess right now. It's parts everywhere. This bench is going into the tent, but in the tent there's 3 other cars that needs to get moved so I could get this into the tent. And we have so much parts that I don't know where I'm gonna put them all. And as you can see, we have a bunch of space here. If we could organize this and move one car, or the El Camino in this case, over here and get it back further, we could easily fit 3, maybe 4 cars more back here. But it's so unorganized, so I can't do that right now. And also, I don't want to park the El Camino too far away, because I plan on working on that soon. So yeah, it's all a mess, and it's only my fault. But gonna figure out how we're gonna get Ram truck out of here. Should start, and then we can drive the Pajero out of here, and then we can get the Ram truck back in again. So we're gonna see if we can fix that. Step 1 is completed. I pushed the Blazer over to the side to create a bigger gap here. Then I pushed the Caprice in here. So this will be where we will picking it apart, hiding it, the ugly car behind the less ugly car, at least from the view of the house. But yeah, I'm gonna show you something here on the frame. It's so ridiculously rusty. Unfortunately, I poked a hole in one of the shocks, so it leaks. But you can see the frame, or you can't see the frame because there's no frame left. This is how it's supposed to look, and there's just nothing left. And it's all the way back. There's no frame left. It's so bad. And you can see there's about the same thing on the other side. So I'm glad I didn't fall more in love with this thing, because it's really not savable. You have to change the frame, and at that point, what's the point? But one good thing that I was thinking about this, and if we push this forward, we can see the other one goes forward, and if we go rearwards, that also goes rearwards. So we have some sort of limited slip rear axle, which I was hoping on this thing. So the plan is I'm gonna keep this as a spare for my NASCAR project. It already has a limited slip, but it's a big high chance that we will ruin that axle, and it's never bad to have an extra rear axle that will be a direct bolt-in swap. So we're gonna put this on the shelf, and that will be probably the best thing that this car is gonna give us. But we're gonna see if we can take as much as possible, of course, but take what's actually usable. So we're gonna pull the seats and all of that. But I'm gonna figure out how I can put this in some way so that I can pull the axle, because I can't put anything here under the frame because there's no frame left. And I'm probably a sawzall off the rear axle, but I'm gonna figure out some way that I can do it safely. The last time I removed the rear axle from a Caprice or a vehicle, I put it up on its side, but I want to avoid breaking glass here on my gravel. And also my wife is home, and I don't think that she will appreciate me putting a car up on its side to remove a rear axle. So we'll see how we can solve this in some easy way. I put some wheels and some wood here to make some makeshift jack stands, and I lowered it, and this happened. So it's so damn rusty. The whole rear frame is falling off. The only thing keeping it up was the spring pressure from the rear axle. So this is the worst thing I ever seen. It's so bad. So what I think we can do now, maybe get a sawzall in here and just cut it and remove the whole rear section of the frame out instead. It's a bit better on the other side, so we'll see if we can do that. But gonna see if we can pull the whole thing out, then we can just throw the frame back into the car so that it will be going to the junkyard. But this is insane. this wasn't how I planned to remove the rear axle, but I guess it worked out in the end. So we're just gonna remove all of the junk and keep the axle, of course. And here we can see that we have the tag for use limited slip diff lube only. So we know that this is an original limited slip, maybe not the best limited slips in the world, but it's a great axle and I'm glad to have it and put it on the shelf. Also, I think I'm gonna keep the rear springs, but that's basically all. Then I'm not really sure if I'm just gonna cut this up and put it in my truck, because it's not really worth taking this to the junkyard and selling it as metal scrap, because it's so bad pay. You get about 1 Swedish kroner for 1 kilo, which would equivalent to like what I'm so bad with dollars, but $0.1. What is that? Is that 1 cent? Yeah. I'm really bad with that. But anyway, it's really bad pay. In most cases, it's not really worth taking it to sell the metal. But now I'm going there like tomorrow to buy some metal for the Blazer. So I thought might as well get some money for it. Maybe I will get 10 bucks for this thing if it is 100 kilos or whatever it is. But yeah, we'll see if we it is probably easier to put it in the bed of my truck than to put it inside of the Caprice to make it haul away to the junkyard. So we'll see. But anyway, that's that. And it's pretty rusty under here also. This corner is completely gone. Same thing on the other side. Decent here in the middle, but I mean, it's not good. But yeah, not much to say on this thing. But we're gonna take the interior, gonna take the front seats and the rear seats. Gonna see if we can take the seat belts if the bolts aren't too badly rusted. Some of these come with the Torx bolts, and they are a pain because the Torx bits always breaks. But I am going to keep the seats. I might keep the carpet, but my plan was to put this, or my idea is to put it in my 65 Chevrolet, which I am going to turn into a convertible. But I have a vision in my head. I want to paint that yellow. I think the paint is called butterscotch yellow, but that kind of vanilla yellow I want to paint it. And you can't really have a yellow car with a red interior. But also, this is free, so I mean, we can go with red for a while, but the carpet, I'm not really sure I want to bother. It's probably not going to fit that well. And a carpet isn't that much. It's like $200-300. And having a nice carpet is really lifting the interior. So we'll see how we'll tackle that. But I want the front seats, the rear seats, maybe the seat belts. Then I think we're pretty much done with this thing. I am going to keep this spare because I already have an exactly identical spare, and I think they look like front runners. So if I have a set of those and like a set of 10-inch rear wide steelies, that would look pretty cool. So I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna see if we can sell these aluminum wheels. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep the center caps and maybe sell them as scrap metal also. But we'll see. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead, pull the seats, and then we're basically done with the Caprice. Got the rear seat out and it looks really good. This is breaking a little bit, but it's gonna do just fine for the Chevelle. And of course, this is a station wagon rear seat, which makes it foldable. We have this that's going to lock it, but I guess if we remove this, we can find some metal frame here that we can build some brackets so that we can put it in something else. But yeah, we're gonna put that on the shelf for now. Other than that, I'm going to skip the seat belts because they have these stupid Torx, and I know that I'm just going to mess them up trying to get these out. It's really unfortunate to let them go, but I can't be bothered. I hate those Torx bolts. I have broken so many bits trying to get them out, so not worth it. But now we're gonna remove the front seat, which is a problem in itself since this has electrical seats. This is a luxury car, and unfortunately the controls is here on the door, and we have the seat obviously, and we don't have power, so we can't move them. So I have fished out this, and I have cut this end so that we can do something in the future, but I'm gonna see if I can make the move with one of my batteries here so that we can. The thing is, I know that these are really tight to remove, so you have to move them all the way back to move the front bolts and vice versa so we can get them out. So hopefully I can make the move so that we can remove them easier. I have the seats out. It was actually really easy to make them go back and forth and everything works on them. The passenger side was actually manual and not electric. I'm pretty certain that the Caprice that I have built the NASCAR on had electrical passenger seat also, but I guess it was an option. But if we wanted to go and fix this in the future, we can just take these cables and is this, yes, that's for the seat, and under here we have 6 cables, and up here we have 8, which is basically the same. These colored are the same, and these black and orange is just positive and negative. So we can just add power and ground to this, and then this, and we connect these, and this is going to work, and we can just put this under here or whatever we want to do and have this work. Or we can just take a battery, put it where I want it, and then it will be where it is, because you're never moving it afterwards. But anyway, we have a nice interior that we can do something fun with. Besides that, I have cut off the frame from the rear axle, so that is done. We can clean up all of this. I am going to keep the springs. I took out the steering box. I don't have any use for it, but I thought it was 3 bolts, might as well. And it also was connected to the power steering pump, so it was a nice combo. So we're keeping that. We're keeping the wheels, and then I don't think there's much left. There are a bunch of goodies on this if you wanted. All the glass, probably someone will need this glass in the future. Rear tail lights are decent. The doors are, besides this one being a bit dented, they're not that bad. Some rust in the bottom, surface rust, but I would say that they are in really nice condition. If it was anything else like a square body or GMT 400, I would definitely keep them, but I don't see why I would keep these doors. But I mean, we have a cluster, we have a bunch of stuff here on the dash that's worth some money, and I mean, I could probably, if I wanted to, get out like $500 for this thing, selling this and that, but I really don't want to bother right now. I want to get this out of here and out of my property. And I mean, maybe I was thinking about cutting out the front suspension, but I don't see what I would put that on, so there's not really a point. So yeah, we will go to the scrapyard. I'm gonna put this up for free. If anyone needs something, they can come and get the whole car, or if they want something particular, they can pay some money for it, because I'm not gonna pick it apart to give it away for free. If someone wants to take the whole thing and be out of my life, that's okay, but we'll see. I'm gonna see if we can get rid of it. But yeah, that's basically the story of the Caprice. I'm gonna go ahead, clean all of this, and then we can start looking at the Pajero. All cleaned up, so the Caprice is ready to go off to the junkyard. But we'll see. I'm gonna make an ad, a free ad. If someone wants to have it, they can have it, and hopefully some of the parts can go to use instead of just being off to the scrapyard. But we'll see here in a few days. But now I gotta think about what we're gonna do next. And it's such nice weather today. It's gonna be nice weather here all week, especially Thursday and Friday. So we're gonna see how much we can do here outside. And now, of course, I was talking about starting to dismantle the Pajero and remove the engine and all of that. But the only reason I really thought about doing that is because I thought I was gonna take the junkyard, the wrecker that's gonna pick up the Caprice, and when they're here, they might as well take the Pajero. But in all honesty, I don't have any stress getting rid of that thing more than that I want to get rid of it. And the only thing that will happen is I will remove the engine, put it on a pallet, and having issues where I'm gonna put that pallet. So I really don't need to stress getting rid of that thing. So I'm gonna keep that little bit on the thinking stage right now. So my plan right now is I've actually gotten some motivation here. It was really nice being outside and do something else. So for now, I'm gonna go ahead and do some errands. I'm gonna fill up with welding gas. I'm gonna fill up a propane tank for the forklift. I am going to, what was the last thing? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try and sell those frame rails, and at the same, if they even wanna touch them, but I wanna get rid of those and buy some new metal, some 2mm metal. That's the thick one. I'm sorry, I don't know your 18 gauge, 12 gauge system over in America, but 2mm, that's the thicker style that they use, or the equivalent of it anyway. But I'm gonna buy that and yeah, see if we can do some stuff on the Blazer, or if we're gonna work here outside. And we don't have to work on the Pajero. I have no stress with the Blazer. He is in no rush to get that thing down, so we can do basically whatever we want. And now that the weather is becoming nicer, we could work on the Ram truck, work on whatever, but outside. So we see. But I mean, we have to get rid of the Blazer, but we don't have to rush it, so we can mix in with other stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and do the errands, and I will come back to you when I'm home again and see what we have time for. I'm back home here again, and I've done some shopping. We have 2 pieces of 2mm steel. I could have bought, this is 1 by 1 meter, 2 pieces. I could have bought a 1 by 2 meters and done, this is for the rocker boxes, and I could have done it in 1 piece, but I think this is gonna be a pain to make, so 1 seam in them isn't going to ruin them. So we're gonna do them in a couple of pieces, but we have that. I have some new propane for the forklift, and I have some new welding gas, so we're gonna take that into the garage. And now I have been thinking here while I'm in the car driving what I'm going to do now, and I have decided that at least for today I'm not going to start on the Pajero, because there's really no particular reason to do that just right now. I have no stress with it, so I mean, we can leave it, but it is nice weather, so we could be doing something outside here. It is going to be really nice weather this week, and it looks like the forecast is saying that we're going to have some colder weather at the weekend and for next week, but we'll see. That could change. But I would love to hear if you have any suggestions what we could be doing outside this week. I can't really figure out something to do, but maybe you have some idea what we could work with. But yeah, I feel, I mean, I should be pushing on with the Blazer, and for now I have some inspiration to do that. Just being out in the sun here all day just gives me motivation. Spring is coming, summer is coming, and I want to be able to work on my own stuff, so we really need to get the Blazer out of the garage. And it would be easier if, when we have that gone, we can take the Pajero into the garage, take the engine and everything, then we can push the El Camino into the garage and do that project and whatever. So for now we're gonna leave it at that and see if we can do some small stuff in between here outside this week. But anyway, the Caprice is done, Pajero, wait for that, and I'm gonna go ahead and load all of the stuff into the garage and continue the rust on the Blazer. Back on the Blazer, and the last thing we did, we finished the floor, or basically finished the floor. Gonna look at that. But now need to work our way upwards here under the B-pillar. So we're gonna remove that, and basically we only have to loosen this bolt from our bracing and these 2 bolts in here. So we're gonna cut up a little slot here so we can reach those. And then we can basically build this corner as we did on the other side. Make a piece like this so we have something to build to, and then build this whole corner again. And then all of the other stuff that we did on the other side. So we're gonna remove that and start figuring that out. Besides that, we have to do this that I'm contemplating how we're gonna solve. I mean, it is sandblasted here. We basically have rust back to here in some pinholes, and obviously this area here. And the idea is, I'm gonna remove this epoxy paint that I painted on before, and I'm gonna see maybe if it works holding my copper pipe on the back side and welding this up. Otherwise, if that doesn't work, we will have to start replacing stuff. So I'm gonna try, see if that works, and maybe we can get paint on that today. That would be nice, feeling that the floor is done. And also remove the pillar and see if maybe we can create this first piece and start rebuilding the outer area of the rocker box. So yeah, let's go. B-pillar is off, and we're gonna look at that, but I want to show you here first. This turned out decent, I believe. You can see everything is welded, and I just took my copper pipe, held it on the bottom side and welded against it, and I think it turned out good enough. I'm happy with it. I mean, we're never gonna be able to hide that this thing is repaired anyway, so I mean, why change out more than you need? So I think that's good. We can paint that, and then the floor is completely done, so that feels great. But that's the only thing that's great, because this side is a bit worse than the passenger side. And the thing is, I mean, this is basically as bad, but it is a bit worse in here. So you can see that it's a swollen here, so we have to replace more in here. Thankfully, we can do that easily here from the inside. We can see that it ends right here, so that's not a big issue. On the other side, we welded it to here, which unfortunately won't be that easy here, since we have to fold it up like this. So it's a bit more work on this side, but yeah, we'll manage. So the plan right now is going to do exactly what we did on the other side. We're going to make this lip, that one that we made, and that's where the bed, what do you call it, bed, can't figure out the name right now, but the box here goes over, so this has to match over everything. So I'm gonna put a piece like this, and then we're gonna see if we can make the bottom piece, bottom corner, and weld that on, weld in some bracing, and yeah, so that then we can do like we did on the other side and build from here down to those pieces. Also, something that is worse on this side is the B-pillar. Fortunately, it's a bit bad here, so I think we have to make some piece here connecting to the rocker. But also here on the inside, it's a bit worse, so that will have to be taken care of. But it's not the end of the world, but it is a bit worse than on the passenger side. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and make this lip and see if we have time to make the bottom corner also. Here we have the beginning of the corner of the inner rocker. Obviously there's a bunch more to do. Gonna do some cutting here. Now we can build all of this, and also this isn't the final cut, because I remember that I haven't done a final cut on the inside, so I can't really measure from that. So I have to cut them both eventually, but that's no problem. Now we can start building all of this, which we will be continuing with tomorrow. So we're heading along here. Hopefully in a few days we can have the B-pillar back on, and it's really nice now that the floor can be considered completely done. So that's really nice, just to be able to focus on something else. So I'm gonna paint that, but this will be all for today. But I mean, it feels like I have done a lot, but it also feels like we have ways to go. But when we finally have this corner done and we have the rocker on, and then we can flip the cab upside down and do the rocker boxes. When that is done, then things are going to go very quickly, because then we can put on the bed floor and we can fix that. That's gonna go really fast. Then we can put on the quarters, then we can put on the tailgate and the doors and the hood and everything. So when we eventually have the cab done, things are going to go on really quickly, at least considering how fast everything has been going so far. So, I mean, we have a long ways to go, but we have come a long way. So I'm really excited, and I'm really happy right now, because just this spring weather, the sun and everything brings my motivation up so much. So hopefully I can just power on here. But I have some ideas what we can do here in the week when we have some time I want to do something else. one thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna take my 350 here, the one that had a cracked head from the 75 Chevelle. I'm gonna take some leak repair to this thing, and I want to hook it up with a water pump, a radiator and exhaust and everything, so that we can run this thing for a long while, and hopefully that sealant will cure that crack that we have. I have used that thing on other stuff with great results, so I'm pretty confident that that can solve it, and then we know that we have a good again engine that we can put into something, whatever that is going to be. So we'll see if we do that someday this week. But anyway, that will be all for today. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and we'll be back tomorrow. We can do some more rust repair.